Sword mode, I see. Yeah, I think I would go with the dual blades which you're using at the moment, because I just like being able to attack fast. Half-Life, I see. Yeah, we ended up finishing the thing just before, so I figured I'd start this. Hey sir, hey sir.
The time is 8:47 a.m.
I feel so fast.
Topside temperature is 9.
Do you do training room, by the way? I have not done training room, no. I have decided why not go hard, because
The Black Mesa compound is maintained at a
what's better than doing hard? Also, options, audio. There's even sound quality. Would it maybe be in video? Video. Voice. I don't need that at the moment. Lock. It doesn't seem that I can add what's it called? Subtitles. Also longsword as well, because it makes you feel like an anime protagonist if you're able to use its skills correctly. Sounds like just a big sword. You should. I mean, how bad could things really go if I don't? Okay, I think I should be all good. Yeah, I mean, I can't add the thing, so I'll just resume game. What's it? Quick thing. Didn't someone make a really good mod? I think. I'm pretty sure someone made a really good map for Half-Life 1. I think. And then I think they actually ended up getting hired by Valve because of how good the map was. I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure that happened. I could be completely wrong though. Anyway, back to the game.
is inbound from level 3.
What are they doing here? What are you doing? What are you zapping that thing for? You doing some welding machine? When my first playthrough, a certain mechanic comes up that they only tell you how to do in the training room. I see. So I should do it then. This is where me being stubborn comes in.
In the Black Mesa compound,
I guess the rails... No, the rail wasn't connected to anything, so how does the rail go down?
within the Black Mesa transit
Oh.
system. Please keep your limbs inside the train at all times. Do not attempt to open the doors until the train has come to a complete halt at the station platform.
I'm gonna open it.
In the event of an emergency, passengers are to remain seated and await further instruction. If it is necessary to exit the train, disabled personnel should be evacuated first. Please stay away from electrified rails and proceed to an emergency station until assistance arrives.
Noted. Also, how do you expect me to keep my arms and vehicle... My arms and or just limbs inside the thing at all times? When, you know, it's enclosed. I guess maybe if there's broken glass. But if there's broken glass, you wouldn't be sticking your hand out the window. I don't know. I guess they just have to say it. Because I guess maybe something's happened. Is it going to close behind us? Am I going to be trapped in here forever? I am. Oh, we're turning. Okay. If you want to great sword, which is really slow, but most of its attacks can be charged, which make them do lots of damage. If you do 3 charged attacks in a row, you can do a true charge attack, which you hit once and you flip with your sword, and the second hit is the strongest greatsword attack. I see. Sounds good to have. So we're Gordon Freeman and we're 27 years old. I think that's us at least. Another door. And it's gonna close. Yeah. Close differently. Ooh! Thingies!
Do you have a friend or relative who would make a valuable addition to the Black Mesa team? Immediate openings
Not that I can
are
think of.
available in the areas of materials handling and low clearance security. Please contact Black Mesa personnel for further information.
Hey Thingy, how are you?
Theoretical physics, biotechnology, or other high-tech disciplines, please contact our civilian recruitment division. The Black Mesa Research Facility is an equal opportunity
Oh, so were there people in those robots? Or were those things controlling themselves?
A reminder
I guess I'll never know.
Black Mesa personnel. Regular radiation and biohazard screenings are a requirement of continued employment in the Black Mesa Research Facility. Missing a scheduled urinalysis or radiation checkup is grounds for immediate termination. If you feel you have
Okay, so there's nothing controlling that robot. Unless the person is in there
of your duties,
somehow. But there's not much room for a person to be in there. So I think it's just a robot just
work safe,
doing its own thing.
work smart.
That's a lot of... I don't even know what it is. It's green. I'm gonna guess it's
Now arriving
nuclear waste.
test
My
lab.
best guess, because they're talking about radiation. Question is, can you skip through this again? Because I don't want to go into the training room
Door and wait for the security officer to verify your identity.
and then have to watch.
Exiting the train, be sure to check your area for personal belongings. Thank you. And
Make a save.
safe and
I guess that can work.
Morning, Mr. Freeman. Looks like you're running late.
I blame this thing. It could have been faster. That's my only thing I can think of saying. We got save game. We'll go save. So now, new game, training room, and let's see how this goes. Hazard course time.
Hello and welcome to the Black Mesa Hazard Course.
Thank you.
You will be trained in the use of the hazardous environment suit. I am your holographic assistant. Let's begin by stepping into your suit. You can see it suspended.
You don't have a name?
If you see one of these buttons, press it, and I will appear to demonstrate certain
What?
maneuvers.
Yeah, she just said I'm your holographic assistant or whatever. I thought she'd say, you know, she'd have a name, but I guess not. That's right. It's gonna. Did I miss the thing? No, it is gonna open. Okay.
Moving around in your HEV suit can be slightly disorienting at first. Take a moment to familiarize yourself with basic movement, and soon it will fit you like a second skin. I will see you just around the corner.
I like my skin how it is. I don't want this to be my second skin. I'm perfectly happy in my own skin without a second skin. I know what you mean, but still.
Focus in the hazard course is basic jumping. You will attempt to get over
No way.
pipes using only your run and jump commands. It helps to get a running start. Watch me and then try it yourself.
I think I can do better than you. I think I can do better. I definitely did better than her. I looked cooler doing it, which means I'm better.
The next set of crouching will automatically shift your suit into stealth mode, minimizing movement noise.
Mm-hmm. Let's go. That all?
Very good. I hardly noticed you. Move on to the next area.
But you did notice me. So that's the problem. You said you almost didn't, but you did.
Skills. You will need to jump, duck, and then jump again.
Jump, duck, jump. Did it.
You look prepared for the next station.
Thank you, sir.
To get into these pipes, you will have to spin
Jump,
your suit
duck,
into a duck jump.
jump, duck. Jump, whoop, jump, duck. There we go. Next. Jump, duck. This is going well.
Walk directly into the ladder.
Whee!
And continue moving forward.
There we go. Next.
The next 3 jumps get harder each time, but they are quite possible. Don't be surprised if you miss the last one a time or two.
Mm-hmm.
If you can make all 3 in a continuous run, you are doing well.
Okay. 1.
Keep trying.
I
You'll get it.
didn't even press jump in time. 1. I'm not pressing jump. I'm trying to leave it too late because I don't want to miss the jump. 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, it wasn't actually that hard.
One more style of
Ah.
jumping you need to learn.
I was trying to leave it to the very end because I thought it would be a lot harder. Anyway, okay.
Long jumping requires its own charging module, seen here. To activate your long jump, you will have to duck and move forward, and then launch into a jump. Once you're up on the platform, press the button and I will demonstrate the move.
Okay. Whoa,
Nice job.
did it! Yeah! I don't need her to teach me how to do anything. Is that the thing you were talking about though?
By moving up to the button, looking at it, and pressing the use key.
Boop.
Now that
I'm such a good student.
you're one way down, find the target on the floor below and do your best to hit it. If you take any damage from
Oh.
the falls, we will administer medical care at the next station.
Okay, I'm fine then. I thought I was... How would have landing here different to... I'm not gonna question. Medical care!
Med kits like this one throughout the Black Mesa compound.
Come on.
Restore your health. Walk up
Oh, I gotta hold it.
to the kit and press your use key. Your health will recover
There we go.
gradually until you are at full health or the kit is depleted. Once the light goes out, a med kit cannot be reused.
I'm guessing hard's gonna be annoying with not getting much health from those. But I mean,
Spin that bridge. Walk up
I'm the one who's deciding to do it.
press the use
Jump. Jump.
Fantastic. Sometimes you'll need to rely on more than just your suit to get through a tight place. Try jumping this gap on your own.
I did it. I did it on my own.
Push the obstacle out of your way. You might try pulling it. To pull a box, move up to it and press your use key. While holding down
Womp.
to keep a grip on the box.
Did it. Also have an exam tomorrow. So I'm gonna be sleeping soon. Yeah, all good, Pookie. Oh yeah, I wish you luck on your exam. Now, can I push 2 of them at a time? I can. Anyway. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. I did it.
If nothing else works,
Yeah, break the box. Suck it, boxes. I'm getting out of here.
activate your suit flashlight for the next area.
I don't like. Come on, it was all good.
Light drains power, so switch it off when you don't need it. Welcome to the Black Mesa target range, where you will receive training in firing a weapon,
Everything I've ever
reloading,
wanted.
and firing the attached grenade launcher.
Whee!
And advance.
Whee! Damn, who'd have thought? Went straight through.
You'll have to hit every target in order to complete the course.
Every target, you say?
If you miss the first time, don't worry. It will come around again. Try to reload during practice rather than waiting to run out of ammunition at critical time.
Got it.
To fire your grenade launcher, use your alternate fire button.
Yeah, I've been ahead of you.
Targets will break only when hit by grenades.
So if they have lines, they're unbreakable.
5, 4, 3,
Do I need to stand here?
1.
Did it. I hit it. I heard another one. Oh, can I stand up? Oh, I can stand over here. Who's next? Oh, there is one over here. Can I just... There we go. Easy!
Your ATV suit monitors blood oxygen levels, warning you when you
I probably should have listened.
catch your breath. You will see the blood oxygen indicator on your suit's heads-up display
I did.
returning to its previous level. You are free to
I
skip on
didn't.
to the end of the course.
Oh, I need to go to the end of the course. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, there we go.
This is the charging unit.
This is a big place just for the training course.
When you are running low on power, step up to any charger and place your battery. Your suit will recharge gradually until the charge unit is depleted. Individual batteries may also be used to charge your suit.
So what does the charge actually do? Okay.
If you pass through fire or steam, you will see a heat damage icon lighting up. Directional
Oh no.
indicators at the
Oh
center
no.
of your display show you
Oh
where
no.
damage is coming from.
Oh no. I was stuck, miss. Okay, well I got back to here. I think I saw the most important things, right? I mean, I couldn't do much. I was kind of stuck. Beep beep boop boop. What buttons did you press, sir? Hmm? I didn't really see. Just show me what buttons you pressed. To do it. I don't have a weapon. But if I did, I would point it at you. No, I'm sorry! I didn't mean it! I wouldn't point it at you! What? Okay, no spray stuff's gonna come down. Hello.
I had a bunch of messages for you, but we had a system crash about 20 minutes ago, and I'm still trying to find my files. Just one of those days, I guess. They were having some problems down in the test chamber, too, but I think that's all straightened out. They told me to make sure you headed down there as soon as you got into your hazard suit.
Why are you shaking your head? Also, wait, am I 20 minutes late? Also, the crash thing, do you mean the one where you crouch and then you jump? Is that what you mean by speedy jump?
Hello?
Hello? Do I gotta go in here? I don't remember where my room is. Let's see the guard's computer. Oh. Let's go see. Okay, I do know then. Okay. I know the important thing. Hello, sir.
This is all within theoretical limit.
What are you doing? Come on, Gordon. You trying to get me into trouble?
I just wanted to see the things that were for me. That's all. Nothing else. Okay, I think I'm gonna go down here to grab my suit. Where's my super suit? There's some coffee I can have. Let's do something.
Excuse me, go on it right now.
I want a drink. I can't get a drink. Whose food's this?
My God, what are you doing?
I did nothing. I did nothing. It wasn't me. Okay, here's where I get my suit. Okay.
Why do we all have to wear these ridiculous ties?
I don't know. Why do we?
Simulation results are perfectly acceptable.
Also, health pack in here. I'm trying to remember that. Probably gotta press the button, don't I? Boop. There we go. Got it. Off we go. Okay. Again, wasn't me. I did nothing. What's over this way?
Go right on through, sir.
Nope, I don't want to go that way. I want to go the other way.
Greetings. Hello.
Okay.
Gordon.
What's over this way?
Nice to see you.
Can we do this later?
Okay, so you don't want me through here. Noted. I guess I'm high enough level to be down here, but not to go through there. Question is, does that guard even know what's through there? Wee, wee. Go in my eyeballs. Sir.
Catch me later, I'll buy you a beer.
Beep beep boop boop. I see how it is. Oh, that's where I was meant to go.
No.
I guess not. Hey, sir. Yes.
Weren't you supposed to be in the test chamber half an hour ago? Do you know who ate all the donuts?
I don't know. Who was I meant to?
Can't be bothered right now.
Who was I meant to talk to again? I completely forgot.
Weren't you supposed to be in the test chamber half an hour ago? After the experiment. Excuse me, Gordon, but I'm rather.
I think there was someone.
Wouldn't it be fantastic to get some pure readings for a change? You'll
Okay.
just have to
Okay.
wait, Gordon, but I'm rather busy. I must remember to report that fluctuation.
Hey,
I
sir.
can't be bothered right now.
Let's take a clip on fan on. It's hot. Okay, give me a second. Apparently I don't have the thing on. There we go. Also, hey, I feel like I'm doing pretty well. 0 deaths. Okay, nah. Me through. See, I've gotten my suit. You get your suit from there. And you walk out here.
That's odd.
And then do you not go over to here? Ah, I didn't know I could open them. I figured... Wait, how come I scan my eyes, I have access denied, but I can just walk straight? I'm not gonna question it. I just figured you'd have to scan your eyes to get through. It made a boom noise. It made a boom noise. That never seems good. Also, is this up to? Is this safe enough? There's holes in the thing. Okay, I guess I'll go down. I'll just climb. He opened it. Ah, I see. This is where I'm meant to be? I'm at the next level down. I mean, I've been let through, so I'm assuming this is where I was meant to go. But if they want me here, how come they didn't give me access to scan my eyeballs?
Gordon, it's good to see you.
Hello?
Sent the sample down to the test chamber.
We've boosted the anti-match spectrometer to 105%. Bit of gamble, but we need the
Huh?
extra resolution.
The administrator is very concerned that we get a conclusive analysis of today's sample. I gather they went to some lengths to get it.
Yes.
Waiting for you, Gordon, in the test chamber.
I guess because I'm just a test subject. Because you're a theoretical physicist. Big words. Thank you, sir.
It's about to go critical.
Hell is going on
I think your computer's a little bit broken. You might want to fix that. I think you've broken your computer. You know what? I think they might know. I'm just gonna continue on my way. You guys can fix the smoke and everything. No access for MIT pants. So we just don't get access. Test lab? This is our test lab? I think it may be.
You'll just have to wait until after the test.
Standard analysis procedures today.
Yes, but with good reason. This is a rare opportunity for us. This is the purest sample we've seen yet.
And the most unstable.
Now, if you follow standard insertion procedures, everything will be fine.
I don't know how you can say that, although I will admit that the possibility of a resonance cascade scenario is extremely unlikely.
Gordon doesn't need to hear all this. He's a highly trained professional.
I'd like to hear it.
Administrator, that nothing will go wrong.
Yes, you're right. Gordon, we have
I
complete confidence in you.
I'm a trained professional.
Let's let him in now.
Are you gonna go? Okay, he is gonna go scan his eyes. Whee! Okay, I'm guessing I need to press buttons. Beep, beep, boop, boop.
Testing?
Yes. I'm here.
Seems to be in order.
All right, Gordon. Your suit should keep you comfortable through all this. The specimen will be delivered to you in a few moments. If you would be so good as to climb up and start the rotors, we can bring the anti-mass spectrometer to 80% and hold it there until the carrier arrives.
Okay. Beep, beep, boop, boop. Probably should have listened. All I heard was rotors.
Gordon, are you not hearing me? Climb up and start the rotors, please.
So I was right. It was up here in the first place. It just didn't let me do it because he hadn't said to do it yet. I don't like being up here.
Power to stage 1 emitters in 3, 2.
I don't like being in here with this thing going off.
I'm seeing predictable phase arrays.
Is that good?
Stage 2 emitters activating now.
Pretty.
Predict how long the system can operate at this level. Norm,
I shouldn't have done that.
please work as quickly as you can.
Why did I think it was a good idea? Yeah, why did I think walking into the laser would be a good... I kind of just wanted to see if I could die. Turns out... big lasers kill. Who would have thought? This time I'll just sit and watch.
Gordon, your suit should keep you comfortable through all this. The specimen will be delivered to you in a few moments.
Don't forget the tele... Oh, right, yeah, I should probably
Climb up and
do that.
the rotors. We can bring the anti-mass spectrometer to 80% and hold it there until the carrier arrives.
Has it changed to 1? It has. Okay, good. Okay. Boop. How far down is that drop? Because there's a thing in there, but like how deep is it? Because I can't actually see all the... I don't know why I think jumping off of here would be a good idea either. First, I think jump into lasers, then I think let's jump off this balcony. How have I survived this long? I mean, I managed to explode someone's lunch Or I'm going to assume it was lunch. I don't know what time it is because I haven't seen the light of day, but I'm going to assume I blew up someone's lunch with the microwave. Did they want me to do something?
It's probably not a problem. Probably, but I'm showing a small discrepancy. Well, no, it's well within acceptable bounds. Sustaining signals. I've just been informed that the sample is ready, Gordon. It should be coming up to you any moment now. Look to the delivery system for your specimen.
I see. I see thing. And now we push. Push a little more. Push a little more. I don't like. Me no like it. Me no like it. Being up here isn't much safe. Actually, no, it's green down there. Being up here is much safer, I think. I'm gonna hide behind the computer. But I kind of want to see what's going on, so I'm not. Ooh, pretty. Well, that's not good. How did I get down here? Hello, buddies. Am I going to Look, we can talk about this. Were those different realities or something like that? I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I don't like bouncing bricks. Oh. What? Beep beep boop boop. Beep beep boop boop. See? Access denied. Opens the door. How's he doing, Doc? Doc, how's he? Okay. Nothing good's happening. I mean, I told those people they should fix their computer, and they decided not to. I'm surprised the elevator works. Hey guys, is your computer fixed?
I never thought I'd see a resonance cascade, let alone create one.
Gordon, you're alive.
I am.
God for that hazard suit. I'm afraid to move him and all our phones are out. Please, get to the surface as soon as you can and let someone know we're stranded down here. You'll need me to activate the retinal scanners. I'm sure the rest of the science team will gladly help you.
So you've put all of your hope in me. I see. So do you have a weapon?
Well, there goes our grant money.
I guess I'll be on. I don't need to tell you to follow me. It's like, come on.
You won't even know I'm here.
Beep beep boop boop. Beep beep boop boop. Boop boop beep beep. Thank you, sir. Oh, he's going back. He just does. Ow, 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 that hurt. Jesus Christ, half my health is gone already. Actually, I'm gonna go back. Go. Okay. Let me through here. Let me go back down. There was a health kit. I mean, I didn't know the thing was going to explode the door. How was I meant to know? Thank you. It didn't heal me much, but it healed me a little bit. I mean, then again, I am on hard, so what do I expect? Yeah, what do I expect? I will take, like, I think it was 10 HP. I'm out. Close the door behind me. Okay, the door doesn't want to close behind me. That's fine. Stay ducked. If you just stay low, nothing can hurt you. Crowbar. Yes! What? Oh, I think people might... Oh. Either people have fallen or people got blown up below. One of the two. Oh. I thought he was shooting me. I mean, I'll take the gun. Now, do headshots do more damage? Dead. Oops. Okay, apparently right click also things it. Now, okay, that's how you change weapons. Enter. Okay. I don't trust you. I'm sorry. He was already dead, right? Yeah, he was already dead. He was... They were already dead. Enter. Yeah, there's no sight on this thing. Are those hitting him? Maybe? Oh, well, I'm out. Hoppa! Kablooey! Kaboom! Kaboosh! Die! I think he's dead. Make sure this one's dead too. His crotch. You need to go for the crotch. There we go, he's dead. Always aim for the crotch. Okay. I know I don't need to do that to him. Actually, wait, yes. How's his soup going? The microwave's exploded this time. Ooh! Actually... remember there's health in here though. Go. People that were on the toilet. They're not on the toilet anymore. Anyway. I'm glad I remembered this was here. I feel a lot better about having 80 health. Okay. Now, let's continue on. I guess, continue out. Oh. I can't do anything there. There's a crabby friend. You know, you think they'd have a way to get outside the main door there. Kill it! Kill it! I saw another one there. I'm gonna stay low. Kill it! It didn't even know I was here until it was too late. Oh! Yes! Apparently I can't climb on that one. I'm gonna climb on that one and then jump on this one, but guess not. Guess I'm not doing that. Oh. Good job, sir. You got it. Oh. What did I expect? I think I should be glad I can't go. No. It's not smart enough to get out of the seat. Do I get anything for actually coming in here? I don't think so. No, I don't. Okay, well. Let me make sure you're dead first. Okay, you are. More ammo. More health. And I guess we can move on. Okay, climb through this side. Now, I don't know how I'm getting through this one. Oh. There we go. What are you? Kill it, kill him, kill it, kill it. What are they doing? Kill it. They take so much ammo. Then again, it's hard, so again, what do I expect? Oh. Was he alive? I think he was already dead, because he was sort of just hanging there. I was gonna say, I'm impressed he got up there. How did he get up there? It looked like he was trying to get in the, you know, I don't know. Hey, sir. What are you doing up there? Ow. That hurt. Stay back. Stay back. I'm out of ammo. Die! 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 Whip whip! Kill it. Okay. You know, the crowbar, quite useful. Very much useful. Can I get in here? Can. Okay, if I need to. I don't need to yet. Okay. Nothing there. Hey, grab. Grab. Okay, this. Okay. Can't close it. I'm not gonna go through. I think I don't. Die! 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 Ow! 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 Raya. Raya. Huh? Buddy? Pal? I don't know where it went. Okay. Oh. I'm gonna take some health from this. At least there's a few of those things. Oh, I've gone down a level. That's... Uh-huh. That's also the sewer down there. Jesus fucking... That's where you went! Fucking kill it. Make sure it's dead. Ammo. Ammo. Now, do I want to go... I feel like I should explore the other area too. I thought it was 5 shots to the head and they're dead. Okay, it is. Oh, this is where the dude was. Oh. 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Anything up here? Wait, there's ammo in there. And grenades. Can I pick you up and like try and use your head on this thing? Can I do that? I mean, would it not work? Whampty? Yeah, got my whamter. There's gotta be something I can do. Like, surely I can use his head and then just put it up to here. I mean, I want the ammo and thing and health. Health would be really good right now. I'm sorry. I guess I can't use it now, can I? He's dead. Oh, I guess I came this way for nothing. I don't know how I'm getting through that door. Hey, sir. Sir. Follow me.
Hello there. Yeah, you look terrible. Hold still. This won't hurt a bit.
What are you gonna do?
Let me take care of that wound for you.
Oh, please do.
I'll stay here.
No, you follow me.
Let's lead the way. This should make you feel better. I'm slowing you down, am I?
Come.
Glad to oblige a fellow scientist.
Yes. Okay. This way, sir. I need you to open this door. Please.
Failure of this magnitude is extremely improbable.
Thank you, sir. You're very much the cool. Granadas. Can only carry a certain amount. Noted. Health. Give me that back up to 64. Yes. And I don't know what that is. But hey, we got a lot of stuff. Now, I'm gonna save my game here. Because I know that when I become the cool, I'm not going to be able to see a thing. And if anything attacks me, I'm going to be shooting its kneecaps instead of its head. Okay. Which, I mean, going for the kneecaps wouldn't be a... I dropped a coin. Ow. That's myself. Which, I mean, going for the kneecaps wouldn't be a terrible idea. Just in this game. I think shooting the kneecaps would probably do less damage than, you know. Now, this time I'm going to put my headphones on before, so I can still, read the thing. Also, I have a missed call. Who from? A random number. They've called me 4 times in the last 2 days. Actually, no, it was a different number. I think it's just a scam number though, because I searched it up. And, yeah. A lot of things just saying that it was a scam number. No! I think it's still good. It's just not as tight. Yes. Still good. Now. Over here. Here. Block. Timer. 5 miniates. I've also been getting random calls recently. Yeah, I think there's just been a lot of scams calls recently. Because the thing is, it says it's an Australian number, but oh, what have I done? I don't exactly trust it. There we go. I fixed it. Okay, there we go. That's gonna have to be good enough. I'll reset the time real quick. Okay. Cancel. Start. There we go. Get that back on. Okay, let's see how far I can actually make it with my glasses. Or with being cool. If I can even get back to where I was before. I think it's down here. And around here. It was down here. Hey thingy. Anybody here? I hear thing. I knew I heard things. I feel like I should probably just save my bullets on these head crabs. And just use the thing. Because I'm definitely wasting bullets. I mean, I can't see what I'm shooting, so... you know, that doesn't help. So I'm gonna quickly equip that for the moment. Is that the one I killed? Okay, so that means I need to go this way. And this way just takes me back to it. No? Yeah. Yeah, that's a giant loop. So we go this way. And turn this, which will open the door. Oh no. Oh wait, yes? But also no? Wait, I don't want to go through there, okay. I was from here. That means I want to go here and go... I died, didn't I? Yeah, I died. Okay. Well, hey, at least now I know to go into the sewer with my crowbar. You can always trust a crowbar. Because, I mean, at least the crowbar. You can't run out of bullets. But then again, I guess if you get tired, then you sort of... It's the equivalent, I guess. Okay, now, I want to see where I need to get up. Is it over here? No. Where do I need to go up? I need to figure this out. Okay, it's right here. Which I'm also going to quickly just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Now I shouldn't have to worry about that when I come up. Oh, so it's literally just back here. I see. Also, something been changed. Oh. Change sensitivity. I see. Okay, so it's normally 7.2. Okay. How I'm gonna play with this? Oh god. Oh no. Also, what's my timer at? It's at 2 minutes, so I'll have to set it again for 3 minutes. Good luck. Thank you. Thank you. At least I shot it the thing before it got too bad. Where am I? I gotta go over. Which way was I? I don't know which way. Okay, that's. Gotta here. There we go. Okay, we're back to here. Okay, yep, we turn that. And then we just gotta menu. Where am I? I'm lost. There it is. Okay. Where is it? There. Okay. Good. We're up. We're up. Safety. Quick. Get me out. Why can't I get out? I can't get out. Please. Okay, I'm out. Oh, there were 2 holes? Oh. I knew that. I definitely knew that. Hello? I don't trust this room. Or those vents. Or anything. I just don't trust games. This game. Oh, I probably need to... Yeah, there we go. Quick, get on it! That's a long way down. Fucking... Stay back. I can't see it. Where are you? I can't... Okay. Where's the timer? Timer! And then let me quickly go back to the timer again, because I gotta do 3 minutes. Yeah, another 3 minutes with... Why did I go to my calculator? I gotta do another 3 minutes with high sensitivity. Resume. Where are you? I saw it. I saw it run at me. Did it just jump off the edge? Come at me. Are there just gonna be more, all of them waiting to... It deserved that. It deserved it. But, I don't deserve this, please. Oh god, there's still a few here. Please. Please. Okay. Health? How's my health looking? 49. Okay. I'm honestly surprised I only have 1 death. Which, I mean, that 1 death was from myself jumping into lasers. Okay, that. Now. How am I going to aim this? 1, 2, 3. I feel like this is going to waste all of my bullets. I don't know if this is actually a good idea. How many bullets do I have? Oh, I have like 78. I'm going to shoot them all. Because I have 49 health. Okay. Next. There we go. Next. Oh, there's so many. Did I miss? I mean, I can't really see my crosshair that good, to be fair. But I thought I hit. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now there's 3 more on here. Oh, there's more. Of course there's more. Why wouldn't there be more? They don't stop. They do not stop. I gotta run. They're not stopping. They don't stop coming. They just kept falling down. Oh god. Is that a death? I think that's a death. That's considered a death. Okay. Then again, I probably would have noticed it. What something here if I wasn't. Yeah. What? What is? Huh? Stay back. Stay back, beasts. Now I can take this off. Okay. You know, I just noticed. I could have taken the glasses off before that. Why didn't I? I was going to set this back to 7.2. 7 point... You know what? 7 will do. Yeah, so what am I meant to do here? Ow. Oh god, my health. Ugh. Okay. I'm assuming this is right. It is. It's gotta be. There's a vent. Where does this take me to? Okay, I can't go through there anyway. Wait, maybe I could? No, I can't. So who knows what's through there? Now, will breaking these boxes give me anything? No, there's just stuff in the boxes. Okay, well that's where that thing took me. I don't particularly want to go down there with that thing, so I'm gonna... I think this still takes me down there, but... I can't close the door behind me. Damn. It closes for me. Self-closing door. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What is making me move? How many shots does it take? Please. Okay, it's dead. Can't destroy these boxes. I know these things you don't want to touch. Otherwise they will suck you up. They're sort of like reverse, fly traps. Or they're sort of like, what are they called again? Now I'm trying to remember the things in the ocean that have a little light, so things go towards the light and they die. Almost like that. I will take more health. I will never complain about getting more health. No, I know there was a head crab. Okay. Now there isn't. Hit this thing a little bit. There we go. It was good. Okay. Let's move on. Hello? Why is it making me walk forwards? I don't want to walk forwards anymore. Okay. We're all good. Parkour time! Hacker, backer! Hacker, backer! Hacker, backer! Hacker, backer! Okay. There we go. Made it. Wasn't that bad. Anglerfish? That's the name of the thing. Yeah, they're almost like anglerfish. You know, they dangle something that... They dangle down the little... So some of them were dangling down little lights. And then you gotta go light and boom. It catches you. Yeah, well, we made it to the other side of that. Elevator still works. Let's go. Question is, am I going up or down? Office complex. I mean, I'm assuming offices would be higher up instead of lower down. What was that noise? There's so many of them. Oh, they're getting killed. Well, the others were. The others did, I think.
Yes.
Who said yes, let's go? I don't like all these noises.
Lambda. I don't suppose you'd reconsider?
Sir. Don't. Look.
Just look at those
Behind... Would...
clear markings.
Oh. Okay, someone got to eat. Sir, do not walk backwards. That's all I can say. Ow. Okay, well that's not it. Are they all gonna make it through? Do it. Never mind. Oh, it's changed this time. That dude ran away. That dude still got eaten. But the other one ran away. Was it my death? Are they my deaths? Yeah, it's at 4. Okay, good. Let's change that. So I can keep up. There we go. Now, what do I do? Oh, I guess I wasn't hitting it before. Oh, it's a cockroach. What was a little head crab? Oh, baby head. Don't particularly want to go in there. I don't know if there's really anything in here. Yeah, there's nothing really in there. I don't think I get anything for going in there. I'm not. Okay, I'm gonna save my battery. Okay. Most important question. They don't. I mean, I know it's an apocalypse. Like, there's radiation and everything, but normally there shouldn't be this many cockroaches just around in general. I don't know. Anyway, hey sir.
Interesting. Just look at that.
That thing.
Who is responsible for this mess? Gordon,
Not me.
if it was you, I'd let you in. Everyone's heading for the surface. But I think they're crazy not to stay put. Someone is bound to come by and rescue us.
What if they don't? Did you think about that? Okay, I'm guessing. Do I want to go? Alright, wait. Oh yeah, I can. Turn off the power and walk through here. And then smash the glass. And then... Oh, hey. Hey, buddy. What? They did it. Eh? What are you trying to do? Stop destroying everything. I'm sorry, I had to do it. You were destroying everything. He was crazed. He's a maniac. Okay. Okay, well that loads new things. I want to go back. Can I open this? No. Health. Save. I'm gonna go with the crowbar. Okay. I can get over to there. I'm actually more health than I thought I was. Okay, doing that means I can go through here. As... Stop. Stop. Well, okay. Don't go through there. Noted. I was wondering what that noise was. Yeah. Can I please? Good game. Go. I like how most of my deaths have not even been from the enemies, it's been from the environment. Okay, well, that way isn't gonna really help me too much. So I'm just gonna go through here. And I'm also gonna destroy the boxes. Who knows, there might be something in the boxes. Okay, I guess I'm gonna hide behind the boxes. Sir, behind you! I mean, I warned him. I gave him a fair warning. If someone says, sir, something behind you, and then you have a few seconds to react, I feel like it's your fault. Like, I gave him plenty of warning. I'm gonna be honest. Up we go. Now, how am I getting in here? There's nothing down here, is there? No, there's nothing. Do I want to go that other way? What did he put there? Cover it. I don't know. You let... What was I meant to do? Oh, I can shoot the thing. Ah. That's good to know. You know, I didn't know. In my defense. Normally, if there's fences, you can't shoot them. Look, he shoots that one, but not the other one. Now he's got it. Still died though. Try it again. Have my bullet out. My gun out already. I'm gonna be ready for it. Damn it. Okay. This time I'll be ready for it. Duh. Duh. Can you let me through, sir? Thank you.
Ooh, something died down here.
I mean, there's the thing we just killed. That's something that's died. Just a thought. Might be wrong, but... Oh. Just a head crab. I thought something came from behind. And, attacked him. This. Button. The face. The cucumber. Slice, actually. I don't know what else. Okay, so you help him, and you just get extra stuff. So it's back this way, the way I actually want to go then. It's through here where we actually want to go. But you get sucked up is the thing. Problem. I'm gonna save game. Oh, I guess I accidentally uncrouched. Oh, because I didn't see. And I accidentally uncrouched. I guess that's what happened. Oh. Oh. Oh, that's just here. Okay. Never trust roofs. Or anything, really. Never trust any sort of inanimate object that could be broken. I hear more. I also see a ladder. What? Going on. What? I'm pressing E to pull. Oops. Okay, let's get up. Oh, you know, I do need to get on this one and then that one. Oh, this little one can be moved. Didn't realize the little one could be moved. I don't know why I didn't think the little one could be moved. And jump. As I say, and jump on here. And then jump up here. There we go. Now we're up. Do you want to go through here? Yeah. Stay back. Ah! He's gonna shoot that? So, okay, it will. Okay, there's health over near it. Run, 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 run. Okay. There we go. We're good. Safe. Another thing. Note of some sort. How am I getting up? How do I get up there? And yeah, I can push. Oh, well, this brings me back to here. It all loops around. How much ammo have I got for this now? 119. I think I can start hold. I was thinking about a grenade, but they're kind of all a bit more spread out now. I didn't expect there to be that many. Just sitting there. Oh. I hear things. I think someone was fighting them. I kind of want to figure out how to do this thing. I don't know how I'm getting up there. Getting a running start help. Not really, no. Can't pull that either. Yeah, I'm not too sure. There's definitely nothing through here we can use. Oh, I guess I'll just move on then. I can deal with 35 health. You're doing really good.
Got another one.
You took out 3 of them. That's better than some of the other people than I've seen from some of the other people here. Jesus Christ. What's going on? Oh, all of that noise is in here. Oh, I guess the doctor died. Oh no. Oh no, it's one of those other things. About what I expected when I saw them hanging. When I saw them hanging there. Okay. That's not very nice. I kind of wasted the ammo on it, but... Oh my god! They're dead! No! Yeah, 45 health ain't quite enough. Hey sir, can you help?
Okay, I'll cover you.
Actually, yeah, come down this way. You might be able to help me up. Come here. Me. 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 Oh, dude. Don't mind the dead things here. I killed them all. Can you please help me up? I need help.
You go on without me.
I need
Let's get the hell out of here.
I need your help. You need to lift me up. Please. No, no, no. I turned it off again, don't worry. You can't just climb. I think you could have jumped from there and then jumped on from there onto the stuff there and there. And then I don't know if I would have been able to shoot you while you're up there. I'll just have to find some health somewhere else. Are you coming?
See you later. Roger that. Let's run like
Come on. You coming?
Okay, I'll secure this area. Yeah, let's go.
Okay, he's not coming. He's giving up on me. People ready to go. I'm scared. I don't know where they went. I missed. I have 5 HPP left. Exactly what they said. Word for word. Boop. Pew. Pew. Sir, look out. You're gonna die. Be careful. Ow! The pain! Okay. Another death. Jesus. Well, that seems very fair. survive that. Right here. I think there was another one though, wasn't there? Yeah. Is it worth it? I think it is. There's got to be something good. You're on your own, dude. You're on your own. I'm just not gonna go back there. Would you like to talk to me? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Well, that's a problem. Damn it. Do not. Might have bad aim. Two, three, four. He's gonna shoot it. Too late. Oh, did it retract itself as this walked past? I'm sorry if I blew out my mic. They one-hit me with their lasers. It's not very fun. Or they probably don't. There were 3 of them. Ow. Oh, right. I also need to do that now. Man, playing this game on hard was greatest decision ever. I thought I shot you 3 times. Thought I shot it. Oh, I'm gonna have more deaths than I thought I would. I mean, I knew I was gonna have a lot of deaths. That's why I added, really wanted to add a death counter, but this many? Didn't think I'd have this many. Four, 5. There we go. I'm scared to walk around any corner. I don't trust it. I know you're here, but
Hey, what the hell are you doing down here? Get topside. I hear troops are coming in to save us.
I'm trying. I just walked up some stairs. Ooh. I want to get in here. Noises are coming from in there though. Okay, what's down here? Oh, that's probably what that noise was. Sir, 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 sir. Sir, have you been down there? Are you gonna stand there and just watch? Are you playing on hard? Yeah, I'm playing on hard because I figured, why not? You know, I like playing games on hard or on their harder difficulties just because, I don't know, find it fun. I like a challenge. I should use my grenades. I didn't know I would get more. Lovely.
Bring it on!
So you've really helped me. Thank you.
What's that?
How will I ever repay you for helping me? Okay. Oh. Hey, sir. Hey, sir.
Yeah, we might stand a better chance if we team up.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good idea. Head crabs do like 10 damage. Okay. So I think we should team up. I think that would be a really smart idea. Because there's definitely not like enemies in the next room or anything. Are you coming? Okay, he is. Okay, we've gotten rid of the that one. Where is...
So that injury may need some... I'll stay here and guard this area. Okay, we might live longer if we work together.
Thank you for the noticing that. Are you coming? Yep, this way. Come on, buddy. In here. Come on. Now look, there's enemies in here. We gotta kill them. Yeah, get him! At all of them? I think it is. Nope. I thought I heard otherwise. Okay. I love creepy corridors. So have you... What difficulty did you do when you played it, Deads? Okay, well, I can turn my flashlight off now. Two, three, four, five. This one is deaf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get some coffee. I guess not. Also, hey, there's Valve. Really nice. I'll take some health. I'm never opposed to getting some health. I am getting low on ammo though. How am I on ammo for this? I have more ammo for this than I do for my normal gun. I'm gonna stay up here. I am gonna stay up here. What was the question? What difficulty did you decide to play it on when you played Deads? What have we got over this? One of them. Marvelous. Great. Well, there's another death. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hard? I see. I feel like it's just a good choice. Yeah? A challenge is always good to have. Usually playing hardest unless it's one life kind of thing, like Outlast. Yeah, I usually do the same. I will usually do one life unless it's like one life. Because I'm not that crazy. Also, hey, how can hit me as soon as I unlock the thing. Ah, I got it. It was one hit. Must have already been hurt. I don't like how low my health is. I just noticed. Yeah, I'm not getting across there. I'll get back to it later though. You go back to what? Do you mean doing Outlast? Or things like Outlast? On the hardest difficulty? Hello? What does this do? Oh, it moves that. Okay. Okay. I really hope I get some health soon. God damn it. Come on, buddy. I didn't want that to chase me. I'm gonna try and deal with that separately. Already 100% Outlast? Oh. Does that mean with 100%ing Outlast, do you have to do it on the hardest difficulty? Because I haven't actually looked at the achievements for Outlast. Because I know it includes a lot of like, well, you know, collecting all the things and everything. It does. I see. Ow! Thanks for taking me down 2 HP. Because I didn't know that doing it on the hardest difficulty for Outlast was 1 death. I knew Outlast 2 was like a permadeath thing. I didn't know that about Outlast. Or the, you know, just Outlast 1. Okay, there we go. Pretty fair, wasn't on hard, if you know the exact route. I guess that also would... I guess that also would help. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I think I'm just gonna deal with it down here. Thanks, dude. Thanks. Thanks for luring it over here. Real good job.
This could happen, but the administrator just would not listen.
I blame you. Haven't played Outlast 2, but feels like highest difficulty for it would be much harder. Because the game is... Yeah, it's longer. And... Yeah, I feel like it is... would definitely be harder to do on the hardest difficulty. Ooh, the thing up there. Battery. Jesus Christ. Hello? Red crab? Red crab? Here? Oh, Doom's hard difficulty is pretty insane. Yeah, I haven't actually played... I played a little bit of one of the newer Doom games, but I haven't really played much Doom. I do want to go back and play some of the Doom games, though. Yeah, a thing you notice is a lot of older games, they tend to be harder than newer games. I know there's a reason for it. I can't remember what it is. There is reason. Now, ooh, with ammo, gun, and that's all for the moment. Yeah, gotta get up there. Get the wrench again. Oh, so the one up here isn't there anymore. Good. Yeah, I played all the other ones in Doom 3, yeah. Because how many older ones are there? Battery! What am I meant to do there? There. Okay. Also, I see you've said something. I'll read in a quick minute. Okay. I think I read they made the hardest difficulty of Doom. Where it is because devs got pissed at people saying it wasn't hard enough. Doom 1, Doom 2, Final Doom, and Doom 64. Ah, I see. Because yeah, I knew that was the other ones weren't just Doom 1, 2, etc, etc. 3, 4. Okay, 4. Battery. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's move on. Up here, here, crouch through. I don't trust vents. You can never trust vents in a game. You never know what's hiding in a vent. I feel like I'm just going to be struggling with HP through this entire game. I think I just need to accept that. Thank you, sir. Wait. Oh, we're back here. Okay, that's just a thing. We're all good. One of these boxes one day. One day they'll have HP. God, I hate the head crabs. They're the worst. I'm bad at dodging them. And they do enough damage. What was his plan? Oh, how many was he running from? 2, 3. I don't even know if that's the one he was running from. Could have been. I mean... Oh yeah, it's the other side of that door. Probably is the one he was running from. I'll take. And health. Can't complain about health. Okay. Aha. I'm gonna, save here. And... Wahoo! Oh. Oh. Oh, well he fell. I didn't see it, but he fell. I mean, this is a rather difficult jump. If you're not whoever we are, I can't quite remember her name. Oh. Good. Oh. It opened for me. I mean, why? Oh. Something came through there and ate him. I guess. Something happened in there. Yeah, I was saying, why are they trying to open this door? Can I destroy this? No. I probably should have looked at what happened. Probably would have been a good idea. I was just distracted by greed. Oh. Was that a bad idea? I'm feeling like that wasn't the best idea. Oh, that's what that did. I'm just gonna stay hidden. I thought they were lasers that were gonna kill me. I'm gonna be honest. Oh, an explosive barrel. Good. Good. Okay, that wasn't explosive. Ah. Okay, so what does happen? Oh, so that's what I'm guessing I can get through and then climb through that vent. Okay. I should probably turn my light off, shouldn't I? How are you meant to avoid the lasers? You can't really dodge the lasers. Maybe there is a way. Maybe I should also use this gun against them. Maybe it will be more effective. Not really. I guess that's how you dodge the lasers, but it's very annoying too. Okay. So we got on normal ammo as well. Not great. You can just get some HP for. You can. I didn't know you could get HP from vending machines. I mean, there's those. Oh, you get 1 HP from them. I see. What if I press it again? We can. Oh, you gotta actually press all the individual things. Noted. That's good to know. There's that room that I wanted to try and get into. I think I might have missed it. Might have been in one of the areas back there. Fun. I'm using this box as cover. It's the perfect plan. And now we just come over to these and just... I don't know if I ate all, if I had grabbed all of them properly, but eh. I think I have more HP than I did before though. Yeah, okay, I'll stay with this one. Yeah, those things can, yeah. Yeah, these ones aren't activated. It'll be great. God damn it, I... Let's add another death. Ow. Okay. Donk, donk. Honestly, the best strategy here might just be to run through. I might actually quickly go here. Give myself a save. And just run for it. And let all those things activate the guns. There's nothing there that I can do. Go here. Jump over that one. I'm gonna do that.
Wait here for a while? Of course.
That person's just walking very casually. Like nothing is going on.
Containment system is completely failed.
He didn't want to come through. I kind of just turned it on. Just. There's no way you get through this. Yeah, that's why I closed the door. I've learnt to trust the fire doors. Hello? Okay, not good. Not good. Not nice. Not nice. I'm out of ammo. More ammo though, for me. Let me use this thing. There we go. Okay, well, I'm going in here. Now, what guns are they using? Do I have more ammo for this one now? They're using these guns. Okay. Noted. I am with the science team. Trust me. I am with the science team. Trust me. What do we got through here? Oh, takes you back to here. There they are. How many deaths are we up to? 18. Pretty good. Pretty good, if I do say so myself. Yeah, I need to try and get some high ground on them. Okay, I'm gonna have to use the same gun as them. Because I can't really peek. Because I can peek, but then as soon as I peek, I get shot, and I can't shoot them without coming. You know what I mean. I can't zoom in with this one either, or I don't have a scope with this one either, sorry. Oh, Jesus Christ! That's what that noise was. An explosive to my right. The more you know. Okay, one down. Two down. There more? Well, I know there's more. Where are the rest? Okay, that's good. So this is sort of like the armor, is what that is. Oh, so you could also just run through here and close this behind you if you wanted. It seems. Okay, some of these things. These aren't too bad. As long as you avoid them. Explosive. Down this way. Nothing really. I have to go this way. Oh. When did I hit the thing? Did I really hit the laser? I wish to see. Oh, did I bump into that? That might have been what it was. That went pretty well, considering I just ran. And also, I really thought that bomb was gonna go off. I'm gonna be honest. Box's cover. I never suspected. Right there. Oh, he's being killed. I don't have to worry about him. Oh, I thought he was climbing. Someone's above me there. Oh, someone else. Wow. That one's really helping me out. Gotten 2 of them. What is beeping? Oh, you! Jesus! I forgot about that. I thought it was just the others. Oh. Oh, he's getting eaten as well. I'm not gonna complain, it helps me. But I see it's right at the steps. I see why they get killed. Okay. Oh, still chomping on him a little bit. Okay, I think that's all of them actually. And 3 of them was killed by the thing. I didn't even really do that much here. They're starting to give me more ammo for this gun. Okay. Full health. What? Oh, there's a few people down there. Yeah, I can't really peek from up here. Do they know that I'm moving? They do now. If they didn't before, they do now. They know that I've moved. Oh. Oh yeah, they definitely know. They would definitely know. So you don't even have a helmet on. You should get a helmet. The others do. Cool to have a helmet. Let's see. Is that all of them? If it's not, and you pop around the corner, I am going to shoot you in the face. Okay. I think I'm good. Quickly have a look down here. Actually, I don't want to because I have to go through all that thing again. Well, back to there. Okay, let's go up. We're getting out of here. This is the last thing I do. We're... I don't know how far through, and we're at 20 deaths. I don't know if that's good or bad or in between. And there's health there. I will take it. Jesus Christ. Please don't move in. He ran into his own explosive there. That was all on them. Now is this helicopter gonna shoot me if it see? That was a good throw by them. Gotta give it to him. Yeah, is the helicopter gonna shoot me? Behind me. Huh. Oh. Oh. It wasn't letting me shoot. You dare come... I was gonna say you dare come in here and I... You... Oh yeah, I need to add to this. There we go. Yeah, I don't know what I meant to do when they just rush me. Like, what can I do here? What am I meant to do when they do that? I don't know what to do when they rush me. Because they just sit there and shoot me, and then I can't really do much but just shoot them. Why did he explode? Oh, probably from an explosive. That's probably why. I don't know if this is where I'm meant to be going, but I'm going for it. I don't care. I'm staying down here. I think it is the right way, because it's giving me HP and the other thing. And also, I don't know if I'm gonna be finding very more vending machines, because well, yeah. Actually, maybe this is where I'm meant to go. I don't think I am meant to go down here. Maybe I am meant to be down here. Because I can go through here. Or I could not. I mean, both options work. I just don't know where else I'd go. Can I go through now? So I was just meant to go down instead of up. I fell down a bit too far. Also, 1, 2 deaths. I'm at 24. Let's go. Yeah, let's try it again. I got you. Or not. Did I get him? I think I got him. Okay. There was an... He was dead! Huh? Was he just playing dead? Since when can things do that? Oh, also, another death. 25! I shot him multiple times in the head and shot him a few more times just then. He should be dead. Same with you. I'll grab your armor. Thank you. Yeah, let's get through here. Run. They'll never suspect me. Okay, I don't think I go in there. Okay, I should probably have my light on. What? Uranium? Titanium? Huh? What about uranium? Well, yeah, the scientists aren't really meant to fight back. You know, scientists aren't really, you know, the fighting type. Usually. Did he just... I think they just blew themselves up. Some of them. Okay. I hear beeping. I think that is a lot of turrets wanting to kill me when I pop out. So I think the less beeping I hear, the better. Actually, I think that was... Yeah, that's where I was earlier, where the vending machines were. I'm full on ammo. Let's go. Health, I will take. Oops. Can't exactly get back up there. Oh, that is a door. I wasn't sure if it was or not. Apparently it is. Wait. What am I trying to do in here? Hello? Person? I'm confused. What am I doing? I'm stepping on cockroaches, aren't yeah. Ugh. If you're important, you won't explode. He's not important. How am I can climb them? Oh. They're innocent? Look, I didn't know you could climb the thing. Plus, he was already dead. What am I? Where am I meant to go? I am confuzzled. Yeah, this is back to here. Oh, you meant the cockroaches. I wasn't doing it on purpose. Okay, well the only other way I can think of getting out of here is over this way. Yeah, I wasn't intentionally killing the cockroaches. Okay, well I can go over here. I'm not sure where I'm actually meant to be going here. Lies? What do you mean lies? I wasn't even looking at the ground until I noticed that I was stepping on them. But it wasn't intentional. Where am I actually meant to be going? I'm very confuzzled. Look, I'll try not to step on any more. No. Look, you saw I stepped and then it ran into me. That one was not my fault. You can't blame me on that one. Look, I'm gonna step. There's nothing in front of me. Okay. Onto the box. I can't take responsibility for that last one. That last one was not me. I saw that? Yeah. I stepped and then it ran into me. I am actually not sure what I'm meant to be doing. I can't get out of here. I can't break that. I don't think there's any other way I can go out here. That's what they all say. When has someone else said that? Please, tell me. Do I just want to turn the power off? No, I can sneak around the edge there. Okay. Wait. Okay, I couldn't have gotten to that one. yesterday. So someone said the exact same thing yesterday about cockroaches. I guess good to know. So it's a common occurrence then. I'm not the only one.
Well, so much for the government. Their idea of containment is to kill everyone associated with the project. Judging from your hazard suit, I'd say you were part of what went wrong. Am I right? Now look, if anyone can end this difficulty, it's the science team in the Lambda complex at the opposite end of the base. With the transit system out, I couldn't tell you how to get there. But there's an old decommissioned rail system somewhere through here, beyond the silo complex. If you can make it through the rocket test labs, you might be able to worm your way through the old tunnels to track down whatever's left of the Lambda team. You can trust them. You can trust all of us.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, it's good that I'm full ammo. It's annoying that I have to leave some behind though. And well, I've already used them. So, we go through here. Which actually, oh, it's already 7. Well, this is normally time I end. So I'm going to leave it here. But I'd say we did pretty well. I've only died like 25 times. That's pretty good. I mean, it was only 25 times in 2.5 hours. That's like 5 deaths an hour. That's not too bad. How much longer of the game is there? I'm not too sure. How much more? I guess not longer, but yeah, how much more of the game is there? I'm not completely sure. But yeah, let's put a save here. Save. And let me check something. Okay. But yeah, so I guess I'm going to leave it here. If you did enjoy, please do think about following. I am not going to sleep tonight, because now all I can think about is killing the poor cockroaches. But again, I'm not taking the blame for that last one. That last one was not my fault. But, yeah. I hope you did enjoy. And now I'm going to the wrong thing. But yeah, I hope you enjoy your day, night, morning, afternoon, whatever time it is for you. And, yeah, I guess next time we're going to the other... Or, I guess it'll be Thursday is when I'll stream next. Yeah. I guess Thursday we're going to the next, or the other side of the facility, and maybe getting out. I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. But, yeah, I hope to see you in the next stream. See ya.